Nice to meet you, Jay.
Brian, nice to meet you.
Thank
you for coming
I'm a
on.
maintenance man in
Yeah.
the building, and
But much more than that at this point.
yes, I'd like to share a bit of my story. My name is Brian Fisher. I'm 61 years old. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to live life, live my childhood, live my teenage years. I grew up in the city of Toronto, in the early 60s, late 60s, early 70s, and my life in decades, I have the good, the bad, and the ugly. And would like to share a bit of my inspirations, my hopes, my dreams, my goals. One of my heroes that I have in my life is Terry Fox. And in 1977, I had 3 friends. We walked our legs tied together downtown. And I ended up not finishing, and my first resentment in life happened. And then at that time, Terry Fox was training for the Marathon of Hope. In 77, 78, 79, he was thinking, feeling it. And it's something that I wanted to do. I would have liked to done. Biking, walking, any way of raising money, giving hope. And I think I'm kind of falling off so much.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
It's a great introduction. Honestly, and the way you hold yourself and speak about, your past challenges and how you see the future is pretty inspiring. So I feel like a lot of people can learn a lot from you. And
Yeah.
you've got a great heart. You've got a great soul. You're putting that energy out there. So I feel like that's the most important part, right? So,
What's important for you we are newly friends? What is something that you would like to know of you see the way that I am at work, and I'm really working hard and walking. I had knee replacement surgery, and my life has completely changed. And I met Jay in the building. They moved into the building, and I shared a bit of my story with him, and this is something that we want to do. I met a really good friend, a good resident, and let's do this.
absolutely, yeah. And honestly, the first thing that stood out to me is your generosity, because we moved in. There's pretty strict rules in the building about what times you're allowed to move in and out, and we were kind of on the bad end of that. We were a little past 5 p.m., which is when the technical time we're supposed to move in. But you're generous enough to give us a little bit of leeway, and as a first time meeting someone, that's something that's just really nice to see, because so many people are in such bad moods nowadays, right? So
I guess it's the first impression.
exactly.
And I know some of my first impressions have been pretty cruel at times too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was just that moment, that time, because my life has changed so much that I kind of let some of the rules go and played with it, and everything worked out. Nobody got hurt, and that's
Why don't we dig into that a bit more, actually?
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, I know you had gone through a lot of change and stuff. You mentioned, your inspiration from Terry Fox and what he's done. What kind of got you on your mission?
what has gotten me onto this mission.
Yeah.
Back in 1981, I was working on the lake boats, and I injured my left knee. I completely ripped it apart, and I had major surgery done to it on June 28, 1981. And that day is marked in my soul forever because it was the day that Terry Fox passed away.
Oh, wow.
And I had resentments towards Terry Fox for what he was doing. I was jealous. And when I injured my knee and I was waking up in the recovery and I wanted pain medication and I was crying and whining, a 17-year-old kid. And the nurse came in and I asked her, I said, would I be able to get some more pain medication? I'm hurting so much. And she said, oh, you have to wait a couple more hours. You have to wait a couple more hours. And I decided to, when she was walking out, she's not giving me pain medication, I kind of swore at her and called her a bitch. And she came in and she says, I'd just like to let you know today Terry Fox passed away. And I believe from that moment on, pain to me, I didn't feel any pain from that moment on. I was numb. I remember going home after a few days in the hospital recovering and watching Terry Fox and everything that he accomplished, and to hold resentments towards him, and what a hero to have. He gave his life.
Incredible, right?
And every time in my life when I was backed in the corner and needed some guidance and some help, I just didn't only look at or talk to my higher power. I also talked to Terry Fox, and to get a bit of strength and to get a bit of hope and courage, man of courage. And he inspires me.
Why do you think he was such a big inspiration for you?
Because he raised awareness of cancer.
Yeah.
He raised awareness that, it doesn't matter whatever you're doing or whatever is happening in your life, try to get out of the situation or try to help yourself.
Yeah.
And that is what I get the most out of Terry Fox, is to try.
Yeah.
And I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict, I'm a very addictive personality. And when I hit rock bottom in all of those addictions, you hit bottom. And I used to say, I'm gonna quit, I'm gonna quit. I could never quit, I could never quit. I could never stop. And that was the main word to me, was stop. Because when I quit something, it's not me that wants to quit, it's the cigarette. And when I want to stop, it's I want to stop. The cigarette is not, I'm not stopping because of the cigarette, it's because I want to stop. So I empower myself. I don't empower the cigarette or the alcohol or the sex or today with the internet and the phone and the games, which people are addicted to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what has changed my life after having 2 new knees put in, from living with pain from 1981 until 2023. So 43 years of pain and suffering and
So was that
pissing off a lot of and hurting a lot of people.
Yeah. That's a great story. And what happened to your knees, if you don't mind me asking?
I worked on the lake boats as a deckhand,
Okay.
and we were lifting scaffolding to go up onto the boat deck, and I placed my leg and I turned and I placed my leg between a pipe and the drain, and as I turned I ripped and tore everything in my knee.
It's painful.
And yeah, that's when I started to feel pain, and I tolerated it.
Mm.
I tolerated it for many years, and I hurt a lot of people in tolerating it.
Mm.
And I think that's part of my mission too, is to make amends whenever possible, you know?
Yeah.
I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And karma's a bitch. I paid karma. I'm very proud of that, because I hurt a lot of people in my life.
Yeah.
And this is where my mission is. Mental health is health. Mindset, change your mindset. And I found that I could do anything, be anything, even at this age where I'm at. And that's what I would like to share. That's my hopes, my dreams. Mental health is health. And I had to go back during the pandemic and go into a program for PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
Because I was doing a lot of hurting inside with my inner child, because this all started when I was 6, 7 years old.
Really? That far back?
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, you have traumatic moments in your life, and you carry them with you. And you stuff them and you hide them.
Yeah.
And you lie and you cheat not to let them out. And then all I did was hold them in, and I found alcohol at 9 years old. And by the age of 14, I was a full-blown alcoholic.
Wow. Must have been pretty hard.
Yeah, because I was stuffing my childhood.
Yeah.
PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, mental illness. When people hurt you when you're a child, you carry that the rest of your life. I still carry it today. That's why I wanted to hurt myself, and drink myself to death, and smoke myself to death. Not give a shit about nothing.
Yeah.
That's how I grew up in the beginning of my life.
It's crazy how big of an effect it has.
Yeah. And finding out that I had PTSD during the pandemic, and going to a program and find those root causes of why I feel and think and react the way that I do today, changed my life. Because mental health, everything that I've done, it has to do with mental health. And to be able to recover from my knee surgery, not to feel this pain anymore, to be a happy, joyous person again, I want to share it with the world.
That's a powerful message.
I want to share mental health is health. Don't be ashamed to talk.
Mm. It's so important, especially these days where people are normalizing, you know, shoving everything down, you know, toxic masculinity, all this stuff that doesn't allow people to show emotions.
Yes.
Especially men. But everyone kind of at this age.
Yeah, we have to be
tough,
a certain way. We have to be tough. We're not allowed to cry. You cry, you got smacked in the head.
Yeah.
You know, you got bullied, you got beat up.
Exactly. Acting like a pussy, right? That's what they say.
Man, I used to get beat up, and not because of my teeth. And I had a girl not even 3 years ago. I was still affected by it.
Really?
I'm not affected by it anymore. You know what she said to me?
What?
That's OG, man. That's original. That's you, man. That's you.
That's how you should look at things.
And that's how I look at things today.
I like it. That's awesome.
You know, and she gave me confidence.
Yeah.
And people are in your life. They're there for a reason. There's a purpose for you to be in my life today. There's a reason. There's a purpose.
Both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
And I'd like to do this a lot more.
Yeah. And you know what? It takes a big person to be able to come to these realizations. I feel like a lot of people would, even at your age, would continue sweeping it under the rug, you know, keep carrying all of this, not sharing the message, you know, continuing down a terrible path. But you've come to this realization and you're actually doing something about it. So that says a lot about you as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And where I work today and everything, there's a manager. And she's the one that changed my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Went into a meeting after a pandemic, and I felt that I was being attacked.
Really?
And my feelings and emotions took hold. And she was asking me to do something, and I basically, to me, inside of me, I was telling her to go F herself. And she reprimanded me. And because I was such a star worker, a good worker, other managers just let it go.
Yeah.
She didn't.
Hmm.
And I'm very grateful for that. Because that is a moment in my life that where I had to pay the consequences, and I was ready and willing and able to pay the consequences. And that's when I found the gatehouse.
Wow.
And that's when it opened up my eyes. So I thank you. I really do.
Fate works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
It's really cool to hear that.
And you know, I'm blessed to where I work and what I do, and I love what I do.
You're good at what you do.
And I'm damn good at what I do.
Absolutely.
And before I would never say that. I didn't have that confidence, and today I have that.
It's very important.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
And just for anybody that's out there, you know, you can say one word or one thing, and it can change somebody's life.
Yeah.
And I had one person say to me, we were not getting along, and he said, "Who's that for you?" And I kind of thought about it and says, who the F am I? Who am I? And I looked really deep in myself, and that's what's coming out today. This is who I am.
Sometimes it's those questions that are fired at you kind of, you know, they really get you to think.
And so what fires you up?
I mean, even listening to your story gave me goosebumps there for a second. So anything that is outside of the ordinary thinking. So I feel like there's so much of just like this sheep herd like behavior going on everywhere, where everyone is just pretending to be normal, pretending to be the same as everybody else. And that's honestly, that's probably the most toxic part, is trying to fit in.
Trying to fit in, and that's what I always did. I had heroes. I always wanted to be a Daryl Sittler, a Tiger Williams, hockey players, and I never wanted to be me, right?
Yeah, that's always how it goes.
And that's where I am the outside of the box thinker.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for that, because I tend not to follow the herd.
Yeah, and that's what stood out to me too when I met you, because I think we're like-minded like that, because I kind of found myself similar to you, starting to think about things, like what if it were this way, or what if, there was more respect and kindness in the
Yeah.
world. And like you said, like one word can change someone's life. So why wouldn't we implement that?
Yeah, and that's one thing that I find today is that that's what we're lacking,
Yeah.
you know. And where's the love, man?
Yeah.
Every-
Seriously.
Everything is bombs and killing, and I just want to have hope in life.
Yeah.
And that's what my walking does for me. It gives me hope. It gives me a mindset. It changes my mind. I listen to music, and I'm living my childhood that I lost.
Yeah. It's so important too. That's a whole other tangent in and of itself, living your childhood and making never losing that curiosity of being a child,
Yeah.
It's such a big part of life.
And that's what I feel that I'm living today.
It's amazing.
And I think this should be a Friday night talk session.
I like it.
Jay and Fish, we're going to sit down and we'll share our experience, strengths, and hopes of life. And one thing I would like to say to you, like I'm 60 years old, and now we get this old. I was never supposed to reach this age. I'm here. I'm going to reach 100, but the one thing that we fight is time.
Yeah.
I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time with people, places. I wish I had more time with people. Because
Yeah. It's all about love.
yeah.
That's all it is. That's all life is. Love. Who do you love?
Who do you love? Family.
Yeah. How do you treat those you love? How
Yes.
close do you keep them?
Yeah.
How often do you tell them? It's important too.
And you see, that's what is, I find, I didn't do. I always kept secrets on that, and I never did want to share myself. And that's what you have to do. You have to talk to somebody. You have to share yourself with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
a close friend, and the pain and the hurt that you go through. Share with them and get it out of you, because as you get older, it rots you. It rots you.
Eat away at you. Yeah. That's very important.
You
Yeah. I think it's something so important, but it's simple but so overlooked.
Yes.
Like it's something that nobody really talks about, but is probably one of the most important things. Because if you're not talking about it, you're pushing it down.
You're pushing it in.
Yeah.
Like that's what I did. That's what I did with my feelings.
Yeah.
And I remember when I stopped drinking. I was 24 years old. I was a full-blown alcoholic, and I went into a treatment center. And that's what I did, is I stuffed everything, and I drank. And then when I stopped drinking, then it's like all these feelings came out of me of love and caring and sharing, and the hurt, the pain. I never felt these feelings before, and I didn't know how to react to them. I didn't know how to handle them.
It's just overwhelming almost.
Overwhelming, because when I was such young, drinking and carrying on,
Yeah.
those feelings that you're supposed to feel, I covered them up.
Kept going deeper down.
So when I grew, I gave it up. I stopped. All these feelings of love and that, I didn't know what it was.
Wow.
Right? So I walked around angry all the time. I hated everybody. I hated everything. I hated myself.
It's hard.
And that's what substance does to you.
So how do you feel you've come progress-wise from that? From stopping drinking, having to deal and confront all those emotions? Do you feel like you've made pretty substantial progress in dealing with those emotions? Or do you feel like there's still a lot more processing that you have to do?
There will always be a lot more processing.
Yeah.
Because I find, for myself anyways, is I went from one addiction to the other.
Yeah.
Right? Alcoholics and drugs and sex. And thank God I didn't go to gambling. I smoked cigarettes for 43 years. Crack cocaine, all the pain medications, everything.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Just one to the other to try to cover it up.
And that's what we do. And so now what I did is, what I'm doing now is I'm finding healthier habits.
Yeah.
Swimming and boxing.
I love hearing that.
Thank God for my new knees. I prayed for 40 years to give me no pain.
Yeah.
And it happened. And so what it is I'm trying to, when I stopped drinking, I drank coffee. I stopped doing drugs, then I tried to I learned a trade. And that's, my trade is one of my recoveries.
Amazing.
But then you see, that was good, but then I became a workaholic. So then what happens is you spend so much time at home, at work, you spend less time at home with your family and your children. What happens?
It's hard. It's all about balance. It's the hard part.
And it's the money, the greed of money.
Yeah.
Right?
It's also an addiction, I guess, too. Like,
Yes.
trust me, I work in finance and I'm surrounded by those people every day.
Yeah.
Just the constant, like 24/7, just at the office,
Go,
neglecting
go,
their
go.
families.
Yeah, forgetting.
Such a waste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went years and years of not taking holidays.
It's terrible.
Right? And the bad thing about that is, first, you don't learn, you don't get culture, you don't try to understand other people, places, and things. And my motto today would be, every 3 months, take a week off, go somewhere, do something, or just stop and relax.
Yeah.
Because
Unwind, right?
yeah, because if you don't, what's going to happen? You're going to burn out. Your
Yeah.
family's going to leave you.
There's this saying, if you don't take a break from work, your body will take a break for you. I think that's a great way to put it, because it's so true. Like, if you just work yourself literally to death, I guess at some point, there's people in trades, but also in banking and in all industries really, that just get to that point.
In all work, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Blue collar, whatever. There's stress and strain everywhere.
Yeah.
And take a break from it.
Exactly. And just find yourself again, or do some soul searching, go into nature, focus on your family. It's so important.
Re-energize.
Exactly.
Re-energize.
Yeah.
And that's what this is about now. Is I'm 60 years old. I'm living my childhood again in walking and raising awareness for mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health is health. And,
So important.
and mindset, and like what you said, get out into nature and walk, and the trees, Mother Earth, Father Sky. Oh my God, man!
It's a beautiful world.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I've lived in Toronto all my life, and it's the first time I've ever been on the trails.
Wow.
And wow,
What a place to explore, huh? Yeah.
it's so beautiful.
I think about that so often. I'm fortunate enough that I grew up in kind of the countryside and in nature, so I've always had such a deep appreciation for nature. So when I first moved to the city, I was a little overwhelmed with all the concrete, and I kind of missed that connection with nature. But then I moved closer to High Park, which is amazing in and of itself, just being in nature. And obviously we have this beautiful area here too, so
Yeah, take advantage of it.
absolutely.
Take advantage.
I gotta get those trails, get on the trails more. But no, it's awesome to hear, because it is such a mental cleanse too.
Yes. And you see, I'm on a mission. I'm not on a mission. I'm on a goal right now. I promised at the beginning of September I would go 26 kilometers every day for the month of September, which would give me 788 kilometers.
Wow.
And I'm on my 4th week now, and I'm just over 600 kilometers. And I have some work to do, but that's...
It's incredible, man. And is this inspired by Terry Fox, would you say?
This is inspired just by a goal that I set the day before. September, yes. September is Cancer Month,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not Cancer Month, it's Terry Fox. It's Terry Fox. This is the month that we remember Terry Fox, and we remember him every day of our lives.
Yeah.
But it was inspired a little bit by Terry Fox.
Amazing.
But it was a spur of the moment of goal setting,
Yeah.
and I'm doing it.
You know what though? Like having that motivation, that mental clarity to do that is so healthy. Being able to push yourself and do something like that, you know, like it takes a lot to do that. Like people underestimate, you know, how much like motivation, how much self-discipline, how much, you know, just your belief in your mission that you need to have to get to that point.
And I'm not out to beat anybody else.
No,
that.
and that's it.
I'm out to beat my last record, which was I walked 604 kilometers in July, which was a goal set.
Unbelievable.
And I hit it, and then that's what this one is. And then the next one is going to be like 1,000, and then Ottawa, and then Canada. Who knows? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, I challenge myself. I don't challenge anybody else. And,
That's the beauty of it.
And my mission, my goal is to raise money for any foundation out there that needs help or awareness of the mental health part of it. I would be glad to walk a mission of 46 miles, 26 miles, like what Terry did.
Yeah.
I accomplished that, and that's what I want to give to people, to raise money, to help bring a lot of awareness of what they would like to raise money for.
Absolutely. How does it feel now that I know you had a lot of resentment towards Terry at the beginning, but now you're at a point where you're essentially like doing the same thing he is? How does that make you feel?
How does that make me feel? I'm just very grateful to be able to walk.
Yeah.
And I give all the glory to my God, my higher power. And I have Mother Mary, my Lord Jesus Christ, and Terry Fox.
I'm watching over you.
And I talk and I pray to each one of them every day.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm out there and I just don't want to get up and have that walk, all I do is I talk to Terry Fox, and it's like, well, try.
Yeah. Do you think it's important for someone maybe who's not religious to believe in some kind of higher power?
Something greater than themselves, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I lost my higher power there for 30 years, 42 years of addiction.
Yeah.
And even though I found sobriety in other addictions, I still didn't find my higher power. I still took the will. And now that I give the will to my higher power, I can do anything.
That's powerful.
Very powerful.
Amazing. So you're walking every day. You're doing crazy distances every month.
Yes.
Is this part of your mission with the mental health is health?
Yes.
Do you believe that walking would bring someone better mental health? Exercise in general. Do you think it's something that's important for people to do to kind of find themselves?
Yes. It relieves me. For me, anyways, it works for, especially when I'm holding resentments or I'm not getting along, to go out for that walk, and it gives me the opportunity to look at it different ways, and I come out with a decision of basically
Just thinking, right?
just thinking.
Yeah. I feel like I find myself, especially with work and everything else, right? You get to a point if you don't do exercise, you don't leave the house kind of thing, where you're just constantly in a rush. You're always busy. Your mind's always buzzing and going, where you don't even get a chance to properly process anything. So that's why I've found it so useful as well to just go for a walk or go do a workout or, just get out of the house even.
Because you end up in burnout.
Exactly.
Burnout mode. You're go, and
Yeah.
you end up burning out.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just have so much unprocessed thoughts, right? So
Yeah.
that's a very good message. I think it's something a lot of people need to hear. Yeah.
I believe a lot of human beings, a lot of people, they don't want to hear that.
No.
And it's something, maybe let it go in and let it ring around in your head there for a little bit. And then if you don't like it, let it go.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's always a saying that try it for 90 days, and if you don't like it, you can refund your misery, right? You
Absolutely.
can go back out and carry on for what you're doing, but at least give it a chance.
Yeah.
Give it a little bit of hope. Try.
Yeah, if you're in a rut, that's all you got to do.
Try.
Yeah. Really just get after it. And especially, so many people are depressed or have anxiety, and the whole opioid crisis, like it's at all-time highs now, especially after the pandemic, right? So I feel like this message is more powerful than ever to just give it a try.
Yes. And where I work, there's a lot of loneliness and a lot of sadness and a lot of death. And it takes its toll.
Absolutely.
It takes its toll on everybody, and you have to find that mindset. You have to find it.
Yeah. Just surround yourself with good people too,
Yes.
like you.
You never know who, what, where God's going to put in your place.
Yep.
And I just love life and love people that I meet. I'm
Amazing.
very grateful to meet you.
You too, man.
Yeah.
Hey, amazing. Well, thank you for doing this. Do you have any last things you want to say to anyone who's more interested in your mission or following you, or wants to learn more? Is there any advice you would have for the youngsters out there?
For the youngsters out there, I would say, live your childhood as long as you can. And for us as young adults, every 3 months, take a holiday, go out, do something, get away from the stress and strain of life. And us as senior citizens, or seniors, or older people, I consider myself an older person. I live one day at a time, and I kind of don't give a shit anymore. That's kind of like, I live life in the moment,
Yeah.
and it's so much better.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I need to get to that point. I'm still at a point where I overthink a lot of what people might think of me and that kind of stuff. So
You see, and that's one thing that I do a lot, is I'm an overthinker.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings you to a lot of bad places.
It does.
You know.
I know.
Maybe that's one session that
We'll have to do that. Yeah,
talk about,
a workshop on
a workshop
overthinking.
on overthinking and
I like it.
causes and the effects that it does for
Yeah.
your mental health, right?
Absolutely, everything's tied together. So
Yeah.
it's a lot to dig into. But no, this has been a good introduction.
But you see, this
session.
is a road, and at the end of the tunnel or the road, there's a light, and you could say something or do something for somebody. You could be the light for them.
That's pretty powerful. I love it, man. Incredible mission.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.